Okay, I think we got it together this time. I think we got it together. So hey y'all, how y'all doing? Y'all doing okay? Y'all well? Y'all rested? Are y'all breathing? Huh? I hope so. I really do hope so. I came to you all this morning. First of all, when I woke up this morning, I did not have the intention of recording a video. But as I moved about in my house, doing what I needed to do to prepare myself to be in the moment and to prepare myself for what's about to happen today. Let me share this with you all. And some of you all know, and I want to thank you all who reached out with a text or a phone call or message to send your condolences and offer your sympathy in the passing of my Uncle Fred, my mom's older brother. Thank you all for your sentiments. I really do appreciate it, man. Okay, so this morning, like I said, it was not my intention to record this video, but as my thoughts came to me as I was moving about my house, I knew I had to sit down and share this with you all about the power of our ancestors and accessing our ancestors and invoking them and communicating with them and calling on them, because we are our ancestors. And here's what I've shared with some people as it relates to why I feel like some of us are lost and we're feeling like we just can't grab a hold to something that's worthwhile and substantial. We're trying to find out who we are and we just can't seem to make sense of it all. It's because we do not realize fully who we are. It's because we are not attached to our ancestors, and we are our ancestors, right? So, quick story. I picked up Madison from Murfreesboro the other day for her fall break, and a couple of her friends rode with us. And we were on the way back to Memphis. We were so close to Memphis. And you know, on the interstate, I think the speed limit is like 70 miles per hour. Once before you get into Memphis, it's like 70 miles per hour. So I was cruising probably like at 72, 75, somewhere around that. But I was coming up on a car and she had to have been driving maybe like 60 miles per hour. And so I didn't brake because I noticed I was getting close to her and I had enough time to get over. And so one of the things I like to say if I'm coming up on a car that's driving slow is, this car ain't got nowhere to go. They ain't got nowhere to be, nothing like that. So I said that out loud, and then Madison looked up. She was on her phone. She looked up. I got in the lane next to her, and we looked over, and it was this young black girl. Her hair was all over the place. She had her windows down, and she was on her phone. Her phone was like 2 inches away from her face, and so Madison and I were like, "Oh my God, what is she doing? She's gonna kill everybody, and she is on her phone. Oh my goodness!" And so Madison and I had that same reaction, like that same sing-songy tone about ourselves. And so her friends looked at each other because I could see them in the rearview mirror, and they said, "Oh my God, they are the same person. Madison and I are alike because she is my daughter. She is me and she is her dad. And guess who I am? I am my mom and I am my dad. And guess who my mom is? She is her mom and she is her dad." All that to say that we are our bloodline. And a lot of us are not attached to our bloodline because we're not curious enough to really ask, who is my family? You know, what were my parents, what are my parents like? Or what did my grandparents enjoy doing? I know for sure, and I'm going to talk about my Uncle Fred in a second, but I know for sure on my mom's side of the family, we are very spiritual. We are... we're silly. We're a little, we're kind of off kilter a little bit. We have this sense of humor about ourselves that only we can understand. We are, as far as professions, y'all. I don't know. I want to pick that up. I'm going to leave that there because I'm glad y'all witnessed that. That is, my ancestors are moving. Maybe my big mama. I don't know. It could be my big daddy. Who knows? But anyway, wow. Okay, so we are our ancestors. My mom's side of the family, as far as a profession is concerned, we are service minded. We are service workers. We are educators, teachers. What else? Yeah, we're educators, teachers, and we're service workers. And we like to see about people. You know what I'm saying? Like, we like to, go check on people. You okay? You all right? All that kind of good stuff. My dad's side of the family, very social. You know what I'm saying? Like, get together, we drink, we party. So that I get that from my dad's side of the family. And my dad is a cook. And I know somewhere down the line, and my aunts and uncles, all of them, cornbread, fed, southern, like dripped in southern soul food, all that kind of stuff. My dad shows his love through cooking. And so my dad's side of the family, yes, we are healthy. We are, we get together, we have all the foods, all that kind of stuff. So when I get my love of cooking, I get from them. My love of service and wanting to serve people, I get from my mom's side of the family. My mom and dad are night and day. They're totally different. And my spirituality is a mix of, I know my mom and my dad, because my dad likes to cook. My dad cooks not from recipes. My dad cooks from his soul. You know what I'm saying? I believe somewhere down the line, I have a healer or a conjurer somewhere in my family. And a part of me is curious about that because I've been picking up on that for the past year or so. And so I'm wanting to work within that, however that looks. And so I am choosing to attach myself to my ancestral lines. Now, speaking about my Uncle Fred, I posted on Facebook on Tuesday about my whole story about my little herb garden, and I'm gonna show y'all some of my herbs in a second because I don't have a green thumb. At least that's what I've always told myself. My mom has come over to my house to help me with my little flower bed, baby. All that is gone to waste. The only thing that come back is the roses because they're perennials, and so they just gonna come back every, when it gets warm outside every year. Other than that, it's a mess. It's ugly out there. I know. But anyway, my mom mentioned a couple of months ago, she said, Kim, I'm surprised you don't have your own herb garden because you use herbs for just about everything. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I just kind of let it go in one ear and out the other because I just never really figured that was something I would do. But lately, I've been getting curious about this green thumb that I know I have because my mom has her flower bed, y'all, is so beautiful. It's bountiful, it's colorful. She's out there when she's working on, she listens to her radio. I just love it. But anyway, I know deep down inside me somewhere, I have the ability to call upon nature and to grow things, right? So I woke up one morning, Tuesday morning, and I was like, I'm going to buy the things for the herb garden. I looked at some YouTube videos, and I was like, oh, okay, I can afford these things. It doesn't cost that much. I figured I would start small, and I would just get maybe 2 or 3 herbs, go to a thrift store, get some things to grow them in, because I was not about to buy like pots and all that good stuff. I figured I can go to the thrift store and get some stuff like $1 to $2, 50 cents, or whatever. 2.5 hours later on my expedition to start my herb garden, I didn't have much success, right? I was like, oh, I can't find nothing. Oh my goodness. Maybe I just don't have a great thumb and I should give up. I'll show you this right now. I bought this rosemary because that was the only thing I could find in all the places that I went to. Like all the nurseries I went to and all that good stuff. That was the only thing I could find. So I got home and I got a few pots from the thrift store. Nothing much, or jars. Nothing much or not what I wanted, but they were beautiful enough for me to want them. So I got home and I wasn't necessarily defeated, but in the back of my head I was like, maybe I shouldn't just really explore this green thumb thing. And I just keep buying my herbs from the grocery store. It's not like they cost that much anyway. And so I'm pulling it in my driveway. And I looked over in the field. There's a big field next to my driveway. And I saw these red things, which I had seen a couple of days before, maybe like 2 or 3 days before. As a matter of fact, I had a guy friend to come over, and it was kind of getting dark outside when he left. And I looked over there, and I was like, I wonder what those are. And he was like, they're probably gas flags or something. He said, because in, he's from California. He's like, in California, they put down these flags to, I guess, having to do with building or tapping a gas line or something. And I was like, yeah, maybe you're right. It could be some construction about to, or something. My dad could be doing something over there in that field. I don't know what's going on. And it was pretty dark. I really didn't know. So when I pulled in the house, it was just bright enough for me to get a closer look at those red dots. And I was like, I don't know if those are flags. Let me go over there and explore. So I walked over, got halfway across the field, and I was like, these are flowers, y'all. They were just kind of randomly placed, like maybe, 2 or 3 in a bunch right here, maybe 1 right here, just kind of singled out. Not a lot of them, maybe like 10 all together. And so I Googled what it was, looked it up, and it's called a red spider lily. And they symbolize death, transition, loss, grief. A loved one is trying to speak to you, a past one or an ancestor or something is trying to speak to you or something like that. And so I picked them, and they smell so delightful. I found out they weren't poisonous, and I picked a few of them. They smell so delightful, and I bought them in the house. Thursday, and I'm going to fast forward a little bit. Thursday morning, I got a text from my mom about my Uncle Fred being involved in the accident, and he did not make it. It didn't dawn on me until yesterday. My Uncle Fred grew greens and some other vegetables in that field next to me. I rarely walk across that field. I've done it a couple of times, like in the past, maybe some years ago. Can't remember what I was doing. I've driven over it when Madison was first learning how to drive. We would drive in the field. But I never walked the way that I walked to get to those flowers. And it dawned on me yesterday. My Uncle Fred worked in that field, especially when I first moved in this house. He had a big tractor, and I remember a lot of times I would get out the car, and Madison would be with me, and he would turn his tractor off. He'd be like, "Hey, my favorite niece," My Uncle Fred had a green thumb. I didn't think about this at all. Even when I was at my home church, across the street from my home church is a field that my Uncle Fred used to teach young people how to grow things over there. And so not only is having a green thumb in my DNA, if it's in my DNA, it's who I am, right? So I'm calling my uncle's name, Fred Williams. Thank you for helping me to cultivate my green thumb, right? Thank you. This is thyme. I bought some thyme, y'all. It smells so good. I have mints. I'm trying to hold it up with I believe my Uncle Fred probably would have did this. I'm trying to hold it up with a little pencil and some string here because it's drooping. None of these were in just perfect condition when I bought them. Because when I eventually did come across some at Walmart of all places, I was like, these aren't the prettiest things. And I started to put them back. And something said, Kim, get them anyway. Bring them back to life. I've got basil here. Y'all, basil smells so good. And again, my rosemary. So I take them outside during the day so they can get like direct sunlight, and I bring them and I put them in my kitchen at night. And I've already used some of the leaves in some of my cooking and things like that. But anyway, all that to say, like I said, when I woke up this morning, I was not intending on recording this video. But as I was moving about my house, I was cooking. I cooked some black eyed peas. I cut up a cantaloupe, which was so delicious. It was so sweet. I made some herbal tea with some herbs that I have myself and tea bags that I have myself. And I started to think about, so later today, my mom and her brothers and sisters are getting together to commemorate my Uncle Fred. Today is his birthday. And I had the idea, and I wanted to do this. I should have done it sooner, but hindsight is 2020. Getting my aunts and my uncles together so they could talk about my big mama and big daddy, because we are our ancestors, right? And I wanted to chronicle their story and their experiences with Big Mama and Big Daddy and Aunt Constance, who is my mom's oldest sister who passed away. I wanted to chronicle and get and document them talking about Big Mama and Big Daddy and our ancestors who have passed away, because I want Madison to know Big Mama and Big Daddy, because she never met them. She never met Aunt Constance. So I want her to know, because she wants to be a teacher. And Uncle Fred and Aunt Constance were both teachers. They retired from the school system. And Madison told me the other day that she's going to dedicate her degree to Uncle Fred, because he taught mechanics for 30 years at Fairleigh High School. And I was like, that's what's up, Madison. But yeah, I want them to know, and by them I mean Madison and her generation of my cousins. I want them to know that what Big Mama and Big Daddy had in them and what they passed on to their children, and their children, who are my aunts and uncles, passed on to us, and we're passing them on to you. Sometimes unknowingly we are giving you these things, right? I know deep down inside that somewhere along my lineage, somebody was a healer, right? Somebody besides my Uncle Fred and my mom, somebody else had a green thumb. Somebody else tilled the earth. You know what I'm saying? Even though I know for sure that my granddaddy and my uncles, they picked cotton right there where the Southland Mall is now. I know they lived over there. They used to be all cotton. My family has a story, my family story is so steeped in Whitehaven, because I know for sure they were one of the first black families that lived over here. And so anyway, I'm excited to get my aunts and uncles together to tell those stories, to chronicle them, and to introduce the oral tradition. Because y'all, traditionally, we did not know how to read and write, and so we passed stories down by word of mouth, right? That was the only way we got to know our people, was through word of mouth. So we're in a digital age now, and things are moving so fast. I want to go ahead and get it chronicled. So as I was thinking about how I wanted this process to look when I sit with my aunts and uncles later today, as we commemorate my Uncle Fred and get a chance to talk a little bit about Big Mama and Big Daddy, Aunt Constance, and my Uncle Bud and my Aunt Lisa. We'll do a little bit of that today, because I don't think we're going to have much time. I just thought I wanted to share with you all the importance of accessing your ancestors and getting curious about who they are, what they did. You know what I'm saying? Get curious about that, because that's in you. It's in you. And when you don't know who you are and you're not aware of what makes you you, you kind of grab on to like whatever. You see what I'm saying? You grab on to what's trendy and what's a fad, and you find yourself not feeling whole and complete. It's because you are making yourself up of things that are temporal and that pass away and that come and go, and you're not rooted and grounded in anything of substance. Your ancestors are of substance. Now, true enough, that doesn't mean our ancestors were perfect. And some of us may come from a familial line of evilness and ugliness. I can't say that about my ancestors. But if it were to be true that my people and my family was not, was something that I didn't want to be associated with, I will be finding out right quick, fast, in a hurry how to detach myself and how to heal myself from that. Because some of that ugliness is in us as well, not just the bountiful things and the things that make us, prominent and important, and the things that, that give us character. We also get some of those ugly things from our family. So I just wanted to share that with you all. Get curious about your bloodline. This sun is doing something real strange in this video. Y'all are gonna see that. Like, I am not touching my phone at all. So the light is just doing something crazy. And I don't know what happened here. Spirit, Big Mama, Big Daddy, y'all don't like that? I'm gonna throw it away. I guess so. But you know what? I found out that on one of the YouTube videos that I watch, because I have to use rocks at the bottom of these, so that at the bottom of the jar, so that the roots have somewhere to grow, and also so that my soil could just be lifted up a little bit, so I didn't have to use as much soil. So I used some rocks down here, so the roots could have somewhere to go. But one of the videos said that I can also use some broken pottery. So I'm going to break that up some more and just use it instead of throwing it away, and use it at the bottom of one of my jars. So I'm glad you all joined me today with my little talk about accessing your ancestors and getting curious about your bloodline. Talk to your family members. Love on your grandparents. Love on your aunts and your uncles. Call them, see how they doing. Make sure they're okay. Go sit with them, and and collect some of their stories, because once they pass away and they have not shared that story with anybody, the story is gone. So do your work, okay? All right, y'all be blessed.